Nothing like a little 3 a.m. breakfast of some Chobani Flips s'mores yogurt here in Minnesota. About 21 hours in, another 6 hours to go. Alright, so we are here in North Dakota and we're getting ready to head out and do some scouting. It's opening day here in North Dakota. Season opens here in about 4 hours. We're going through organizing our gear. We did locate some bucks on a piece of public property here 2 days ago. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that footage right now. I'm trying to get it on camera. Are they decent? The closer one's smaller. Are they fighting? Oh, it's a little buck. It looks like it's definitely a shooter. I don't think he's anything massive. The body looks good.
Never shooters, probably. The one to the right. He's in velvet.
They're looking at us. There's a fourth one now.
Yeah, there's four.
Do you think one of those is the
one to the right?
Do you think that's the one we just saw though in that coulee, or do you think there's
I think so, because they were...
Do you think there's 6 of them over there?
Those are in velvet.
Wow.
2 of them are in velvet.
The far right and then the third from the left.
One on the far right.
They don't see us.
No.
We need to get out of here though, because they're coming right at us. So I'm gonna head in there. I'm gonna go in there after those buck. Derek's gonna go to a different piece of property that he hunted last year when we were out here. He saw a lot of deer last year, wasn't able to harvest anything. So yeah, we're gonna get at it. We're gonna try to shoot our bow here a little bit before the season opens up and see if we can get on some deer tonight. Wish us luck. So I'm set up on the edge of this cornfield. I've been here for about 3 hours. I've seen 1 doe, 1 fawn, and 1 buck. I'm guessing a 2.5-year-old. Because of the west wind, I had to sit on the edge of this corn so that my scent is blowing in behind me. I'm overlooking this big slough, hoping to see a deer pop up and then either put a spot and stalk one, or hope it comes close to my edge here. I'm kind of in an area where it necks down along, the corn gets kind of close to the slough. And I'm hoping it's kind of a natural travel corridor. Good morning. It's day 2 here. It's our first morning hunt here in North Dakota. Derek's up the road about a mile, hunting over a water hole he found last year. I'm going to go into this scrub brush stuff here behind me. It abuts up to a main waterway through here with a lot of cattails, and last year I saw a lot of deer moving along that transition between this like scrub brush and those cattails. So I'm going to try to sneak out there. It's awfully foggy, not much visibility, so hopefully I can get in there before this burns off. And man, that doesn't happen often. Just walking through this like cattail meadow, and I looked up ahead of me, and there's this freaking coyote, big one. So I just did a little lip smacking, and the sucker ran right towards me. Now I have good wind, and I don't even know if my deer license lets me shoot one. I should have looked that up before I came out here, but not knowing if I could legally shoot it or not, I had to let it go. But as I stand here and video this, the sucker's just 50 yards ahead of me, just looking at me. They must not get a lot of human interaction out here. So I'm about halfway to where I'm headed. Got a mile walk to get to this little pinch point. So we'll put the camera away and try to get out there as fast as I can. I guess he didn't like my my coyote howl. He did like my lip smacking though. That sucker's still standing there. I just videoed that last clip, put the camera away, stood up, and he started walking back towards me again. I need to do some research and see if I can shoot a coyote while I'm out here archery hunting for deer with the license that I have. Alright, let's get back to it. We're out here for deer. So I'm just walking back out to the truck. Didn't see anything where I set up there earlier. And I'm just walking along this slough. And there's all these cattails here behind me. And then thicker cover back there. And there's 3 doe were just hanging out here right along this right along these cattails. So there's deer in here. Wind is swirling. It's supposed to be out of the west, northwest. Sometimes it was coming out of the south. It was never really strong at all, so I didn't feel real confident in spot and stalking. So I'm just gonna head back to the truck. All right, back in here where I was last night, where you saw the video of all those bucks. There's 10 different buck, 7 different shooters. One might have been iffy, but I'm gonna take all the information I learned last night. It wasn't really intended to be an observation sit, but it's kind of what it turned into be. So where I saw the concentration of the buck movement, I'm going to just dive in there. I'm going to risk maybe bumping some deer. But last year I was too cautious when I hunted this spot. So I told myself this year I'm going to be aggressive. Derek's actually here with me today. He's on the western side of this property. He's going to stay at a more of an elevated position on the slough and kind of observe that western end. And if he sees a deer that he wants to harvest, then he'll be super aggressive and dive in. So we'll see what happens. All right, I made it into my spot. I got about 4.5 hours until dark. The big buck that I had on video last night past this spot with still some time left of legal shooting. So I bumped 2 doe my way in, and Derek saw a buck ahead of me. I never saw it. Let me turn the camera around and show you what I'm looking at. Most of the buck were down there on that flat, and then they worked this way. 17 yards to the edge of the slough. It's another bedding area up there. And I have a bean field up here behind me. Wind is coming this way from my right to left. So I'm pretty optimistic that I'm going to see something. Cross my fingers, see what happens. Well, the wind just screwed me. It's calling for 9 to 12 mile an hour west-northwest. So I set up with just an off wind of where they were bedded yesterday. We got a couple glimpses of the buck and 2 doe. Watched him get up out of one bedding area, move down into the slough. And then I just looked up and saw the doe just busted out over the hill, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I noticed the buck ran out the slough as well, out towards Derek. Threw up some milkweed, and our west-northwest wind just became an east wind. One gust swirled, and that was that. Over a mile in, it took me about 2 hours to get here, to walk in the way I came in. So I'm going to stick it out, but pretty bummed. Just like that, the hunt can be over. So we'll see what else comes out. I'm going to stand up here and show you kind of what went wrong. So that cluster right there is where they were bedded in this year and last year. I watched the doe come out, walk across, and go into the slough, and that's where the buck was as well. They naturally come this direction, which is east, west-northwest wind, bringing it from my right to left. And then all of a sudden we just had an east wind that just dropped all my scent down in there. The doe busted out up over that hill. The buck took the slough out. Derek's over in there. So, like I said, I had the best plan until the wind changed. Now, not very optimistic, but I'm gonna stick it out here for the next 2 hours. Oh, pretty crazy night. A lot of ups and downs. I had that little, I think it was a little 6-point. He was, 10 feet from me. He then moved up into the beans. And then I had 2 nice buck, 1 really nice buck. And now I have this moose, bull moose, coming right at me. He's got a bum leg. I'm gonna see if I can get some more footage of him, and then when it gets dark, I'm gonna head out of here. We definitely found a good spot here. It's 2 nights in a row now where we've had multiple bucks. Derek saw some bucks too, and he's only about 500 yards from me. So let me get some more footage of this moose, and then we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.